Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speak English Daily. I'm Emma, and I'm really glad you're here with me today. Today, we're going somewhere together. Not far, just down the street. About 8 minutes on foot. We're going to a small cafe I love very much. You might have heard me mention it before. It has a blue door. That's how you find it, the Blue Door Café. Today, that's where we're spending our morning. We're going to walk there together through the neighborhood. We're going to order something warm at the counter. We're going to find our table by the window. We're going to sit and breathe and watch the world outside. And later, a friend is coming to meet us. That's the whole plan. No rushing, no schedule, no pressure. Just one quiet Monday morning, living in English together. So get comfortable wherever you are right now. A cup of something warm if you have it, and let's go outside together. Before we leave the apartment, I want to ask you something. Do you have a place like this? A place that feels like it belongs to you a little bit? Maybe it's a cafe. Maybe it's a small restaurant near your home. Maybe it's just a bench in the park where you always sit. A place where people recognize your face. Or maybe even know your name. That feeling of belonging somewhere takes time to build, especially in a new city, especially in a new country, where everything is unfamiliar and the language is still a little difficult. But it does happen, slowly, one visit at a time. For me, the Blue Door is that place. I found it about 2 years ago. I was walking home from the community center and I walked past a small cafe with a blue door. The door was open. The smell of coffee came out, and I thought, I'll just go in for a moment. I stayed for 2 hours. I've been going back every week since. Now, before we head out, let's warm up our voices a little. Just relax. Speak with me. Don't think too hard. Just say the words. Coffee. Café. Cup. Warm. Window. Quiet. Order. Please. Thank you. Good. Now a little longer. Say these with me. A cup of coffee. A table by the window. A quiet Monday morning. I'd like a latte, please. Can I have the menu? A friend is coming soon. Perfect. Your mouth is ready. Your ears are open. Let's go. It is a Monday morning in June. I open my front door and step outside. The air hits me immediately. Cool and clean. The kind of air that wakes you up gently, without demanding anything. Not cold, just cool. The way early morning air is supposed to feel before the day gets warm. I lock the door behind me. I put the key in my jacket pocket. I zip the jacket halfway. Not all the way, because it's not really that cold, and I start walking. My street is quiet at this hour. A few cars pass, but slowly. No one is in a hurry yet. Someone on the other side of the road is walking a dog. A small brown one, very fluffy, with short legs that move very fast. The dog stops to sniff something on the pavement. The owner waits patiently, checking her phone. The dog sniffs for a long time. The owner keeps waiting. I smile and keep walking. The route to the Blue Door Café is one I know very well by now. 8 minutes on foot if I walk at a normal speed. A little longer if I stop to look at things. And I usually stop to look at things. I pass the bakery on the corner first. The lights inside are already on, even though it's early. Someone is in the back, working. I can't see them, but I can smell what they're doing. Fresh bread just out of the oven, warm and a little sweet. The kind of smell that makes you slow down without deciding to. I slow down, I breathe in, I keep going. Then the pharmacy, still closed. The shutters down. The little independent bookshop, also closed, but with new books arranged in the window. I make a note to look on my way home. And then the flower stand. The flower stand is just opening as I walk by. A woman in a yellow apron is arranging flowers in tall metal buckets. Roses mostly, pink ones and white ones, and a few orange ones near the back. She's working carefully, rotating each flower slightly, adjusting the arrangement. She seems to be talking quietly to herself, or maybe to the flowers. I'm not sure which. She sees me looking and smiles. "Morning," she says. Just that one word. "Good morning," I say back. And I keep walking. These small exchanges, they matter more than they seem. One word, a smile from a stranger. The simple fact that someone sees you and says good morning. In a big city, in a country that might not be your own yet, moments like that are small anchors. They connect you to the place. My students talk about this sometimes, how hard it is at first to feel like they belong anywhere. How much it means when a neighbor nods, when a shopkeeper remembers their face, when someone holds a door open and says, "Have a good one." These moments are tiny, and they are not nothing. I think about this as I walk. About how belonging somewhere is not one big thing that happens all at once. It's many small things over a long time. A regular order at a cafe, a familiar route, a face that recognizes yours. I turn the last corner, and there it is, the blue door. It is already open, even at this hour. A small handwritten sign in the window says, "Open." Warm yellow light comes from inside, and the smell of coffee, that particular smell, dark and rich and slightly sweet, reaches me a few steps before I get to the door itself. I push the door open. A small bell rings above me. Ding! I step inside, and the warmth of the café closes around me like a coat. The café is not busy yet. At this hour on a Monday, there are only 3 or 4 people. A man near the back wall with a newspaper folded in front of him. A young woman at a corner table, a laptop open, typing steadily. A couple sharing something from a plate, a pastry of some kind, I can't see what, and talking in low voices. Soft music plays from a small speaker near the counter. Something slow and instrumental. A guitar, I think, and maybe a very quiet piano underneath it. The kind of music that fills a room without filling it too much. I walk to the counter. Tom is there. Tom works here most mornings, Monday through Friday, always in early. He has short dark hair and always wears the same gray apron, the strings tied twice in front. He was writing something in a small notebook when I came in. A list maybe, or notes. He looks up when he hears my footsteps on the wooden floor. He puts down his pen, and he smiles. "Morning, Emma." "Good morning, Tom." He already knows why I'm here. He already knows what I want. We've done this enough times that the words between us have gotten shorter and shorter, not because we're unfriendly, but because we've moved past the part where we need to explain everything. He tilts his head slightly. The usual? I nod. I smile. The usual, please. He turns to the espresso machine and begins. Medium oat milk latte, 1 shot, steamed to about 65 degrees. Not too hot, which I asked for once, 2 years ago, and he has never forgotten. The machine makes its familiar sound, a low hiss, building to a steady rush. Steam rises. The smell of fresh espresso fills the space around the counter, stronger now, almost thick. While he works, I look at the chalkboard menu on the wall behind him. The regular items are all there: lattes, cappuccinos, flat whites, teas, hot chocolate. But today there are 2 specials written in blue chalk at the top. Blueberry muffin and cheese and tomato croissant. Also a new tea, hibiscus and ginger. The blueberry muffin sounds very good. Can I also have a blueberry muffin, I ask? Of course, for here? Yes, for here, thank you. He takes a muffin from the glass case below the counter and sets it on a small white plate. It looks perfect, soft and round on top, with a golden edge where it baked against the paper case, and a few whole blueberries sitting right on the surface. My latte is ready. He places it carefully on the counter, a small white paper napkin folded underneath the cup. The foam on top is smooth. There's a small leaf shape in it. He does this without thinking about it, every time. Thank you, Tom. Enjoy. Good morning for sitting in. He glances toward the window. I look too. The sky outside has changed a little since I walked in. The light is still soft, but there's a grayness to it now. The clouds are thicker. Looks like rain, I say. It does, he says. Good cafe weather. I pick up my coffee and my muffin plate. I'm almost at my table when I remember my loyalty card. I still have it in my jacket pocket. I turn back to the counter. Sorry, could you stamp my loyalty card? Tom stamps it without a word. Just takes it, presses the little stamp down firmly, and hands it back. 8 stamps now, out of 10. 2 more, and my next coffee is free. I slide the card back into my pocket and head to my table. My favorite table is by the window. The second one from the left, right where the morning light comes in at an angle and falls across the wooden tabletop in a long, pale stripe. It's free today. It isn't always. I put my coffee down carefully, both hands slowly, and then the muffin plate next to it. I take off my jacket and hang it over the back of the chair. I sit down, and I take a long, slow breath. The chair is comfortable in the way that only very used chairs are comfortable. The cushion is a little worn, slightly flattened from years of people sitting in it. I've sat in this exact chair many times. It feels familiar. It feels in a small and quiet way like mine, even though it belongs to everyone who walks through that blue door. I pull my notebook out of my bag and a pen. I open the notebook to the next blank page and set it flat on the table in front of me. I don't write anything yet. I just look out the window for a while. The street outside is starting to get a little busier now. A man in a dark suit walks quickly along the pavement, looking at his phone, his briefcase swinging. 2 teenage boys amble past slowly, each holding something in a paper bag, a breakfast sandwich maybe, or a pastry, taking big bites as they walk. A woman pushes a stroller, one hand steering it, the other holding a coffee cup. The baby is asleep. Everyone is going somewhere, or coming from somewhere. Everyone has a direction. I am staying here. That feels genuinely nice. I pick up my coffee and wrap both hands around the cup. It's warm, really warm. The good kind of warm that goes through the ceramic and into your palms. I take a sip. The oat milk latte is smooth and just slightly sweet, the way it always is when Tom makes it. Not too strong, not too light. Exactly right. There's a warmth that spreads from the first sip. Not just the heat, but something more than that. Comfort, familiarity. I break off a small piece of the blueberry muffin with my fingers. The inside is soft, almost fluffy, and the blueberries inside are warm and slightly burst, tart and sweet at the same time. I eat it slowly. There's no reason to rush. The music in the cafe changes. Something even slower now, just piano. Single notes with space between them. I realize I've been holding my shoulders a little tight since I walked in. I let them drop. I feel my back settle against the chair. This is what a cafe can do when it's the right one. It gives you permission to stop carrying yourself so carefully. The man with the newspaper near the back turns a page. He does it so slowly, so carefully, as if he doesn't want to disturb anything. The young woman with the laptop is still typing. She pauses, stares at the screen, deletes something, types again. The couple who were sharing the pastry earlier have both finished their coffees. Their cups are empty, that they're still talking, leaning slightly toward each other, across the small table. I look down at my notebook. I pick up my pen, and I write one line. Monday, window, coffee, good. I put the pen down. That is enough for now. I'm reading a few pages from a small book I brought in my bag. Nothing serious, just something to have with me. When I notice the first drops on the window. Just a few at first, small and round. They appear on the glass without any warning, one at a time, like someone has decided to place them there, very carefully. Then more come, closer together, faster. The rain starts softly, the way it sometimes does on a Monday morning in June. Not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually, almost politely, as if it doesn't want to interrupt anything that was already happening. I set my book down and watch. The drops on the window are beautiful in a small way. They appear, then run slowly down the glass, slowly at first, then faster as they get heavier. Some of them find each other and merge, and then that combined drop runs faster than either one alone. I watch this happen again and again. It's the kind of thing you could watch for a long time. Outside, the street changes immediately. People who are walking slowly suddenly walk faster. Someone reaches into their bag and pulls out a folded umbrella. With one practice flick, it opens. A man in a jacket pulls his hood up quickly and hunches his shoulders. Two women near the flower stand share one umbrella, standing very close together, laughing at something. The woman with the stroller from before steers it under the awning of the pharmacy and waits. Inside the cafe, it feels warmer now. Or maybe the cafe hasn't changed at all. Maybe it's just that outside has gotten colder and grayer, and so the inside feels more warm by comparison. Either way, I'm glad to be on this side of the window. I wrap both hands around my coffee cup again. I take another sip. The cafe is filling up a little. A few more people have come in, their coats and jackets slightly damp. Someone asks Tom for a large cappuccino to go. The machine starts up again. That familiar sound. My phone buzzes on the table. I look down at the screen. A message from Sarah. Running a little late. Be there in 20. Sorry. I read it twice, and then I smile. Sarah is almost always a little late. It isn't carelessness. She just always tries to fit one more thing into her morning before she leaves. One more email, one more errand, one more minute of something. It's one of her most reliable qualities. I type back. No rush. I'm by the window. The rain just started. 3 seconds pass. Then she sends a single emoji, a small yellow umbrella. I put my phone face down on the table. 20 minutes. I have 20 more minutes of this quiet. I open my notebook again. I write a few things, small observations, words I want to remember, a note about the muffin. Then I stop writing and just sit. The rain taps softly against the window. The music plays. Someone laughs quietly at the table behind me. Tom's machine hisses and steams. A new person comes in from the rain. A young man, maybe university age, with a backpack and headphones around his neck. He stands at the counter and looks at the menu for a long time, moving his lips slightly as he reads the options. I recognize that kind of looking, the careful, methodical reading of someone who is learning the language, making sure they understand before they speak. He orders something. Tom smiles and nods. The young man's shoulders drop slightly, the way they do when you've said something correctly in a language that isn't yours and been understood. I know that feeling. My students know it. I hope he knows it too. I think, this is a very good morning. My latte is finished. I hold the empty cup for a moment with both hands, the way you sometimes do with a warm cup, even after it's empty, not wanting to let go of the last bit of heat. Then I set it down. I look at the chalkboard again from across the room. Today's tea special, hibiscus and ginger. I've never ordered tea here before. I always get the latte, but something about the name sounds right for a rainy morning. Something warm, something a little different. I get up, carrying my empty cup back to the counter. Tom is wiping down the steam wand on the espresso machine with a white cloth. It's something he does between drinks, very carefully in small circular motions. He looks up when I approach. "Finished already?" he says, nodding at my empty cup. "It was very good. Thank you." I look at the small card next to the register that lists the teas. Chamomile, peppermint, English breakfast, and the new one at the bottom, hibiscus ginger. What does the hibiscus ginger taste like? I ask. Tom thinks for a moment. He's not the kind of person who answers too quickly. It's tart, warm, a little sweet without adding anything, like summer and winter at the same time. I like that description. It makes me want to try it immediately. "I'll take that, please." "Good choice," he says. He fills a small white ceramic teapot with hot water and lowers a tea bag in carefully. The water changes color almost instantly, a deep, vivid pink, almost red. It's startling how fast it moves through the water. Beautiful. He sets the teapot on a small tray with a clean cup, a folded napkin, and 2 sugar packets. "Let it steep 4 minutes," he says. "Then it's perfect." "Thank you, Tom." I carry the tray carefully back to my table. I set the teapot down. I put the sugar packets to the side. I'm not sure yet if I'll need them. While I wait for the tea, I look around the cafe. At the table near the bookshelf in the corner, a woman is reading. A thick paperback with a red cover. She has been there since before I arrived, and she hasn't looked up once. Not when new people came in, not when the rain started, not when Tom's Nashim got loud. Whatever she is reading must be very good. Her coffee is almost finished, and she hasn't noticed. At the counter, a couple is taking a long time choosing from the pastry case. Tom is patient with them, pointing at things, describing them, tilting a small plate to show them the underside of a croissant. They keep changing their minds. Tom smiles the whole time. 4 minutes have passed. I pour the tea carefully into my cup. It is that deep pink, almost ruby color. Steam rises from it gently. I wrap my hands around the cup. I taste it without sugar first. Tom was exactly right. Tart, warm, and sweet all at once, like something between a fruit and a flower. I don't need the sugar packets. I push them to the edge of the table. I sip the tea and watch the rain, and I'm not in a hurry for anything. I hear the bell above the door ding. I look up from my notebook. Sarah. She is standing in the doorway for just a second, shaking the few drops of rain off her coat. A long green coat I've seen her wear 100 times. The shoulders are damp. Her hair has that particular look it gets in the rain. Slightly wavy, slightly messy, 2 or 3 strands stuck to her cheek. She is carrying her big canvas bag on one shoulder and a smaller bag on the other. She looks around the cafe, and then she sees me. Her whole face changes when she smiles. Emma. She comes across the cafe quickly, weaving between the tables with that particular energy she has. Always slightly in motion, always forward. I stand up. She drops one of her bags on the empty chair and wraps both arms around me. She smells like rain and her green coat and the particular shampoo she's used for as long as I've known her. You look so warm, she says into my shoulder. I's been here for almost an hour, I tell her. Of course you have, she says. She pulls back and looks at me. That is so you. She laughs and takes off her coat, drops it over the back of the chair across from me. She sits down. She breathes. She puts both hands flat on the table for a second, the way people do when they've just arrived from somewhere and need a moment to stop moving. Okay, she says. I made it. It is raining outside. I watched it start, I say. For right there, I point at the window. Lucky you, she says, without any real envy in it, just warmth. She picks up the menu from the edge of the table, looks at it for a moment, and then puts it back down. She already knows. I need a cappuccino. Tom will sort you out. She goes to the counter. I watch her order. She reads the chalkboard first. Asks Tom something. He points at the pastry case. She looks, considers, shakes her head, and then says something that makes him laugh. She pays. She comes back carrying a cappuccino with extra foam and a small shortbread biscuit on the saucer. She sits across from me and wraps her hands around her cup, just like I did, just like everyone does with a warm cup on a rainy day. There is a small heart in the foam. He drew a heart in my coffee, she says, looking at it with great seriousness. He does that for everyone, I say. It still counts, she says. And then we just talk. Sarah tells me about her cooking class. She's been going every Thursday evening for the past month. Right now, they're learning Japanese food. Last week, they made miso soup, which she says was harder than it looks, because the balance of flavors has to be exactly right. This week, rice bowls. The rice is so difficult to get right, she says, shaking her head like she's still troubled by it. Really? I thought rice was easy, I say. That is what I thought. I was wrong. I made it 4 times. 4 times in 1 week? 4 times in 3 days. I laugh. That is exactly Sarah. She asks me about my students. I tell her about Yuji, who has been coming to my class for 7 months now and who started with almost no English at all. Last Friday, Yuti came into class slightly out of breath, and she said, "Teacher Emma, I talked to my neighbor yesterday about the weather," and she understood me. She was practically shaking when she told me, from happiness. "Oh, that's lovely," Sarah says softly. "That's a big moment." For her, it really was. She calls her mother in Japan right after. Sarah looks out the window for a moment. The rain is still going. She holds her cappuccino cup with both hands. We talk about other things. A film we both want to see. It just opened at the cinema near the park. A new restaurant near Sarah's apartment that someone recommended to her. Her sister is visiting next month, and Sarah is already slightly anxious about it. She reorganizes my kitchen every single time, Sarah says. Every time she moves the mugs. Maybe she has a system, I offer. She has a system. I don't like the system. It's nice that she visits, though. Yes, Sarah says. It is, even with the mugs. She finishes her cappuccino. She looks at the empty cup, then looks up at me. Should I get another one? That's between you and Tom, I say. I probably shouldn't. Then you will, I say. She smiles and goes back to the counter. I pour the last of my hibiscus tea into my cup. Still warm. Still that beautiful deep pink color. Still good. It is past 11 o'clock. I can feel it without looking at the time. There's a particular quality to the morning at this hour, a sense of it starting to shift and lean toward afternoon. The light outside has changed slightly. The rain has slowed to a drizzle. The cafe around us is fuller now, louder, warmer. Sarah is finishing her second cappuccino. She's eating the shortbread biscuit from her saucer in small pieces, not really thinking about it. She's telling me something about a podcast she's been listening to, a history series about cities. She says it's changed the way she walks around and looks at buildings. I listen. I finish the last sip of my tea. Then there's a small pause. We both feel it at the same time, I think. That gentle signal that says, the morning is ending. Not because anything bad is happening. Not because anyone has told us to leave. Just because there's a natural end to things, even good things, and we've both spent enough mornings in cafes to recognize it. Sarah starts putting things back into her bag. Slowly. She's not in a rush. She just begins the process. I close my notebook and cap my pen. Should we get the bill? She asks. I think so. I go to the counter. Tom, can we have the bill, please? Table by the window. Of course. He opens a small folder on the counter, the kind restaurants use for receipts, and prints a small slip of paper. He folds it inside the folder and hands it to me. I carry it back to Sarah. She immediately reaches for it. Let me see. We're splitting it, I say. I know, I just want to see what I had. She reads the receipt. 2 lattes, 1 tea, 1 muffin, 1 shortbread, 2 cappuccinos. Okay, half each. I pay by card, I tap my phone against the small card reader Tom brings over, and it beeps green immediately. Sarah counts coins from a small coin purse she keeps in the front pocket of her canvas bag. She is one of those people who always has exact change. I genuinely don't know how. She leaves a small tip on the table. 3 coins placed very neatly next to the salt and pepper shakers, like a small arrangement. We put on our coats. We pick up our bags. We're almost at the door when Sarah stops and looks back at the cafe, at the warm light, the people at the tables, the chalkboard with the specials, the small bookshelf in the corner. I really like this place. Come more often then. I need someone to bring me. I'm here every Monday. She looks at me for a moment. Every Monday? Really? Almost every Monday. She nods, like she's filing this away somewhere. I can almost see the decision forming. We do a slow lap of the cafe with our eyes before we leave, the way you do when you don't quite want to go yet. I look at the table by the window where my empty teapot still sits, the notebooks of other people open on tables, the bookshelf in the corner, a small messy collection of paperbacks that customers have left over the years. Tom once told me the shelf grew by itself. One day it was empty, then someone left a book. Then another person left 2 more. Now it has maybe 40 or 50. No order to them at all. I like that. I like the idea of a shelf that just grows on its own because people wanted to leave something behind. We walk to the door. Tom is behind the counter, making something for a new customer. He sees us and raises one hand. See you, Emma. See you, Tom. Thank you, as always. Sarah waves at him too. Same time next week? She calls. Tom laughs. I'll have it ready. We push open the blue door. The bell rings above us. Not long ago, the pavement is still very wet, shining in the gray-white light of mid-morning. The air smells clean and cool, the particular smell that comes right after rain, when the dust and warmth has been washed away and everything is fresh again. Sarah and I stand on the pavement, in front of the blue door for a moment. Neither of us in a hurry to separate. Which way are you going? She asks. That way, I point left. You? That way. She points right. Of course. We look at each other. Same time next week? I ask. Same time next week, she says. We hug. She goes right, I go left. I walk slowly. There is absolutely no reason to rush, and I have learned, slowly, over many years, to take that kind of space when it offers itself. The neighborhood looks different after rain. Colors are a little more vivid. The leaves on the trees are darker green. The red door of the apartment building across the street is brighter. A pigeon drinks from a shallow puddle near the curb, dipping its beak and raising its head, dipping and raising, very methodically. A few children are jumping over puddles on their way to school. Late, their shoes already wet. Water drips from a green canvas awning above a shop doorway, falling in a small, steady stream onto the pavement below. A man stands just inside the door of the hardware shop, looking at the street, a cup of something hot in his hand. He's not going anywhere yet, just watching. I pass the bakery. The bread smell is less strong now. The first baking is done, and the windows have cleared. But inside, it's busy. A queue of 4 or 5 people. Someone pointing at a loaf of bread behind the counter. The woman serving them wraps it in paper, ties it with a little piece of string. I slow down at the bookshop window. I said I'd look on the way back, and I am someone who keeps that kind of small promise to myself. The window display has 3 books in it. A novel with a dark green cover and gold lettering, the kind of cover that makes you want to know what's inside. A book about birds, with a photograph of a kingfisher on the front, and a children's picture book with a rabbit sitting in a field looking at something in the distance. I stand there for a moment, just looking. The shop opens at 10. It's past 10 now. I could go in. Maybe next week, I decide. Something to look forward to. I keep walking. My street comes into view. Lie building, the gray stone one, with the 2 steps up to the front door, and the small pot of herbs on the 2nd floor windowsill. That belongs to my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who grows mint and basil and inexplicably a small cactus. I reach into my bag for my keys. I find them on the first try, which still feels like a small victory. I step inside. I take off my jacket. I hang it by the door. I go to the kitchen and fill a glass of water from the tap. I stand at the window and drink it slowly. From here, I can see a small piece of sky between the buildings, pale blue now, the clouds beginning to thin and break apart. I think about the morning, Tom's face when he said, "The usual," the blueberry muffin, the deep pink tea, the rain on the window, Sarah arriving, coat still damp, smiling from across the cafe. It was a good morning, simple and quiet and real. That is enough. That is more than enough. I put the glass down on the counter. I check my phone. One message from Mom, sent an hour ago. A photograph of the garden at home. The tomato plants are getting tall. She's written just 2 words underneath. Miss you. I type back, miss you too. Call you Sunday. I put the phone in my pocket and look out the window again. The clouds are breaking up now. There are small patches of pale blue between them. Not warm blue, not summer blue, just the quiet blue of a Monday morning that is slowly deciding to get better. I think about the young man at the cafe counter. I think about Yuki and her neighbor and the conversation about weather. I think about Sarah and her mugs and her sister and her 2nd cappuccino. I think about Tom, always there, always with the right words, always patient. There is something very particular about a place where people know you, where you don't have to explain everything from the beginning, where your order is ready before you finished asking for it. It takes time to build that. It takes showing up again and again on ordinary Monday mornings until the ordinary becomes familiar, until familiar becomes yours. I straighten up from the window. Next Monday, I'll go back. Tom will say, "The usual?" And I'll say, "The usual, please." That is enough. That is everything. Before we finish today, let's practice a few phrases together. You've already heard all of these words this morning. You've been living with them for the past hour. Now let's say them out loud together. Don't think too much. Just speak. Feel the rhythm. Pattern 1. I'd like. We use this at a cafe, at a restaurant, at a shop. Anytime we want to ask for something politely. It's natural, it's simple, and native speakers use it every day. Say it with me. I'd like a coffee. I'd like a latte. I'd like a cappuccino. I'd like some tea. I'd like a muffin. I'd like a croissant. I'd like a glass of water. I'd like the bill, please. Perfect. Keep going. Pattern 2. Can I have? Also polite. Also very common. You can use this for almost anything you want to ask for. Can I have the menu? Can I have a table by the window? Can I have some milk? Can I have a napkin? Can I have a sugar packet? Can I have a to-go cup? Can I have the receipt? Can I have a refill? Can I have a little more time? Good. Now pattern 3. Pattern 3. It is. Short, simple, but powerful for describing what you observe, what you feel, what you notice around you. It's warm. It's quiet. It's cozy. It's raining. It's cold outside. It's a busy morning. It's my favorite place. It's good café weather. It's a good morning. That's 3 patterns. I'd like, can I have, it is. The next time you go to a cafe, any cafe anywhere, these are the words you need. You have them now. They're yours. Now it's your turn. Not to repeat what I said, not to copy a pattern, just to speak in your own words, using whatever you remember from this morning. There is no right answer here. There is no wrong answer either. Whatever comes out, that is your English. It's real. It counts. Let's try. Think about a place where you feel comfortable. It doesn't have to be a cafe. Maybe it's a park. Maybe it's a corner of your kitchen in the morning. Maybe it's somewhere from your home country that you still think about. Can you describe it? What does it look like? What does it smell like? How does it make you feel when you walk in? Take your time. Speak out loud. Use the words you remember. Don't worry about the rest. Good. One more. What would you order at the Blue Door Cafe if you were sitting at the window table right now? What would you say to Tom? Start with, I'd like. Whatever you said, that was real English. Your English, and it's better than you think. This morning, we walked through the neighborhood together. We pushed open a blue door. We ordered coffee. We found our table. We watched the rain begin. We tried something new, a tea we never had before. We met a friend. We talked about ordinary things. We paid the bill, put on our coats, and walked home through wet streets. A simple morning. A real morning. The words you heard today, ordering, small talk, describing, paying, walking, noticing small things, these are the words of a real life. Not a lesson, a life. Every Monday morning we spend together like this, it adds up. Slowly, quietly, 1 hour at a time. That is how language becomes yours. I'll be back next Monday, same time, somewhere new. Until then, take care of yourself, speak when you can, and enjoy your coffee. This is Emma from Speak English Daily. Good morning, wherever you are.